What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new POV video. So today you join me inside a car that is very close to my heart, and that is the Suzuki Swift, and this is the all new one. And yeah, let's go for a drive. Let's talk about it. Guys, before we get into today's video, allow me to tell you about CarTrack. CarTrack is highly recommended by insurance companies with a 90% recovery rate that is inspected by a third party. It is run by a 24/7 control room that ensures you are assisted with identifying where your car is at all times. Ground and air units are always stationed nationwide to recover the vehicle as soon as it is reported. The tracking device is affordable, and once you have one fitted, there is an app available on Android, iOS, and Huawei devices where you can monitor your vehicle's whereabouts at all times. This feature is actually called Car Watch. Car Watch is activated via the CarTrack app to watch your vehicle when parked. Once activated, Car Watch will automatically detect any movement, whether your car is being towed or has been started. If movement is detected, you will be alerted and you will let CarTrack know what action to take. For more information on Car Watch, click the link below in the description section, and I'll also pin a comment in the comment section. While we're here, big thanks to BB Suzuki, which is the local dealership out here in Zanin. They have supplied me with this car to film for you, so do check them out. I've left their details down in the description below. If you live in Zanin or around Zanin and you're interested in a Suzuki, definitely give them a shout. But yeah, let's go for a drive and let's see what the new Swift is all about. So let's start with the stats and stuff. So this new one is powered by a new engine. It's still a 1.2 liter, but they've chopped off one cylinder, so it's now a 3-cylinder instead of a 4-cylinder. It's making 60 kilowatts and 112 newton meters of torque. And this particular example we're in has the CVT gearbox, but you can still get it with a 5-speed manual. And we're also in the GLX top trim, so there's still 3 trim levels available. The base trim is the GL, and the mid trim is the GL plus, and then you have this as the top of the range, the GLX. And obviously the trim levels determine the amount of features the car comes with. So the GLX basically has everything on tab. You have the biggest infotainment screen, your reverse cameras, parking sensors, and yeah, a whole bunch of stuff that come with the GLX, but we're not really going to dwell into that. So I think this is the second car I'm driving with the CVT gearbox. The first one was the Honda Civic RS, and that was my first time ever. It was still very strange. I think now I'm more familiar with CVTs, but I'm still not quite knowledgeable about how they actually work. But all I know is it has a single drive, so there are no gears. It's just one single drive. It drives all the way until you get to the top speed of the car, basically. So the more throttle you give it, the more revs you get, so it can give you the power that you need. So Suzuki claims this new engine is more fuel efficient than the outgoing one. So the previous one was rated at 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers average fuel consumption. This one is rated at 4.5, and on a full tank you get a fuel range of about 700 kilometers thereabout, which is quite good. Now with my one, which is the previous gen, I was getting about 650 kilometers with a full tank. And yeah, that is quite good. So the thing I've noted about the CVT is it's quite smooth, especially for maneuvering, for building up momentum, but it can get pretty loud, the engine that is, because it's always revving, especially if you want to utilize the power and get going. And the other thing is it can get loud even in town driving. By loud, I don't mean like crazy loud, obnoxious, but you can hear the engine revving basically. Whereas with most traditional automatic gearboxes, you hardly hear any revs. But hey, that's a small trade-off, I'd say. It's just something to note. And yeah, so this car overall, it doesn't feel all too different from the previous one. It just feels refreshed. So it feels very familiar to me as someone who's lived with the Swift. And yeah, still a fun, nimble, light, practical, and fuel efficient car that everyone has come to love. So actually the CVT thing is not bad. I'm currently cruising at almost 100 kilometers an hour and the revs are down low. So I guess it all depends what you're doing. So once you reach like cruising speed, that's still quiet like any other traditional automatic gearbox. So yeah, like now we're doing like 80 kilometers an hour, no revs whatsoever. We're doing 1,500 RPM, which is insane. So I guess it's in takeoff situations, or maybe when you wanna pull an overtake and you have to utilize the power. Like now, if I pull away, that's when the revs kick in. And it also takes some getting used to not having gear changes and stuff. But I feel like after a few drives, it just becomes like any other car, hey? So actually, let's take the long way around so we can experience this car a bit more driving in town. So yeah, I feel like I've summarized how I feel about this car. I think most of the information you'll get in the full review, which is coming next. But yeah, this is still impressive, and I'm already seeing these new ones all over the road now. So I think it's safe to say that sales-wise, they're doing well like the predecessor, which is quite good because it's a simple, reliable, practical, fuel efficient car, which is what the average South African wants, I guess. Oh, also affordable, not forgetting affordable. This CVT thing is actually very interesting, hey? And it responds very quick to your throttle input, hey? So as soon as you tap on the accelerator, it kicks in. Seems to be a bit of traffic this side. Let's take an alternative route. So currently I'm seeing 15.1 kilometers per liter. Let's see if I can do the quick conversion to see what's the number in liters per 100 kilometers. So I'm getting about 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers. But obviously this is over a prolonged driving period. So I didn't research the trip computer, basically. So I'm just mentioning this out of interest. So yeah, 6.6 for in-town driving is pretty good. So I can imagine once you get on the highway, the numbers are going to get ridiculously low, hey? Well, impressively low. But yeah, I quite like how the suspension on this new one as well, still very nice and soft. I don't know what it is that Suzuki does with their suspension, but it's just so impressive. And in so many cases, the cars feel more comfortable than some crazy premium cars. I don't know what kind of setup they have going on, or if it's because the cars are lightweight, or maybe a combination of reasons, but it is so impressive how composed and how the suspension soaks up bumps. I think you really need to experience it if you've never been in any of these new Suzuki models. But yeah, suspension is great, so as to say. So right now, we're just gonna head back to the dealership and we'll call it a day. So I guess for these next few minutes while we'll make our way to the dealership, I'll just stay quiet and drive. It's actually not far from here, it's just around the block, a few streets away. But yeah, we're now a few meters away from the dealership, so I'll conclude the video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's POV drive. Until next time, that's cheers from me.